Hello, 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 my beautifuls and beauties. Thank you so much for coming to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping victims of all ages and all genders overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. And recently, we've been using the umbrella of Justice for Shanquilla Robinson for our platform. However, it seems that on a daily basis, there has been at least one daily victim that, with this whole domestic violence, it's like we've been enlightened to this new, I don't know if it's new. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. This whole thing is just it's baffling me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm 52 years old, and I guess my head has been in the sand for the last 52 years, I guess. And this is new awareness for me. This whole domestic violence stuff and how these things are connected. These dots are connected. The dots are connected. The dots are connected. Hey, y'all, I appreciate y'all coming in here. I see some names over here. What's up, Jamie? Jamie says, hello, my beautiful queen, RN and Awesome Moss. Love what you're doing and speaking, okay, on this very sensitive subject. Keep up the great work. Justice for our beautiful Shanquilla Robinson. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. And I just want, y'all to see these similarities. And I know we were talking about, or I was talking about how, Mexico got their own problems and all this stuff, and not really identifying how we really have the same problem over here, just called domestic violence, right? And wow. Again, I'm 52 years old and the proud mother of 3 adult children, 2 young men and two young men and 1 young lady. I'm just ultra super happy for you guys coming here. Hey, Beverly. All right. And appreciate y'all for really getting off into this. Like, Friday, we, I showed y'all that video of the lady. Like I said, we over here, we seeking the justice. However, when there are daily cases of these kind of things happening, we got to do something for the living now. So we're not trying to get justice for people after they're already gone. And we hear the same story. Oh, she was sweet. She was giving. She was kind, right? We're going to see 2 cases. And I just thought that I didn't put the name up there. Sha'Dayla Johnson was, you guys were bringing me names too, saying about what about this person? What about that person? And I know like we would bring up names from the past, but we still currently have present names. And what I would like to do is for us to be a voice so we could stop future names, right? Because Friday we saw the video of the lady, slipped the note to the veterinarian, front desk that, the boyfriend had a gun and that he had, that, so they were able to call the police and get help for her, right? But just knowing how women are, in a high potential to be off in these abusive situations. And then, within moments, you guys were putting in the comments, oh, I just got out of, I left a different country. I mean, y'all was coming, saying this stuff. So it's just making me aware of how this touches so many, just touches so many of us, right? And how women have not had a voice. No one's been listening to us, that we, cry out for these abuse, and these abusers are just getting away with it to where they're not even trying to control the rage. The rage just comes out, and so I want us to be aware of these red flags and the signs. Like I was able to show y'all how the boyfriend was, even when the cops got there, he still flashed her a look like, man, when that's why I was saying, like, if you're in a situation like that, you cannot go back to the abuser because it could mean your life. And the videos that we're going to watch today, I want us to kind of come up with an idea, because these two women, these two young Black women, just like Sha'Dayla, even younger, unalived, right? And they left out of the situation, but these abusers sought them out and came after them, and still, so we got to come up with something so how we can get out of this and be safe, right? This is serious business. You only have to be unalived once, right? Hey, JP6 says, I don't like domestic violence. It is shameful. Yes, and that's why I say over here, we don't do moments of silence. We do moments of speaking, right? So many people, so many victims don't say anything, right? They don't say anything. They try to hide it. They protect the abuser. They go back, right? Statistics show that the victim will leave and come back up to 7 times before they finally just get out of there and stay gone, right? And sometimes you may not get 7 times. You may not get that. That's why you can't go back. You can't go back, because the rage, like, we need to get some understanding of the rage. So I do appreciate John, who came up and actually kind of gave a male perspective on, why the rage and why the explosiveness and the fury. It's past rage, it's fury. So, I just want us to be aware, like, this is a public safety announcement, right? And, that's what we do here as a nurse. And not only am I 52 years old, so I'm a proud Gen Xer, but I also have over 30 years of nursing experience. And as a nurse, it's part of us to advocate for people, for our patients. And, this whole speaking up for this, we thought about femicide, but now it's really over here is domestic violence, right? On both of these occasions, the men had been arrested. I mean, not on both of them, but on one of the occasions, they had been arrested and got out and still went after the lady to unalive her, right? This is really serious. It's really serious. And JP, hello to you too, JP. I appreciate y'all for coming in and all this stuff. And like I said, these things line up, right? Because we know that Sha'Dayla was over there because of the male friend, right? So that's why I'm saying we need to be aware of this tendency to be physical by, these men and stuff, and being in relationships with them is, you need to understand the danger, that there is a danger in it, right? So we want to know how to pick out the red flags, right? Because nobody walks around, these guys aren't walking around with abuser tattooed on their foreheads, right? And a lot of them are very charming, right? They're not coming across, they don't just come up and say, hey, what's your name? And, smack you or punch you in the nose, right? It's not like that. So like I said, we need to stop, look, listen, and feel for vibe. You need to understand when somebody, have these red flags, right? Because they're red flags. They really are. All right. So, hey, Beverly. All right. So I'm just going to go on and break us into our first video. It's going to be really quick, just to kind of introduce us to this whole domestic violence, stuff like that. And I think I should probably still do our acts of faith. I appreciate y'all for, what's up, Anna's face says, hey, queen. All right. Justice for Sha'Dayla. Yes. And I saw, people are talking, and y'all see, I purposely didn't put any, no kind of thumbnails, no nothing to talk about Shanquilla. Friday, I think, did I speak on it? Maybe so, but we did watch something. There's nothing new happening here, y'all. And I really want to focus on the living, right? Because we see that every day there's still more victims. There's still more. There's still more. So we need to do something for the present people so we don't have victims. So women will know how to feel when these men have this energy towards you. Let me just play this first video. Now I'm gonna put up my acts of faith. Put up my acts of faith. Let me do my acts of faith. Our acts of faith. All right. So we've been reading our acts of faith. It's the meditation book, Daily Meditations for People of Color. It's by Yana Van Zett. Book copywritten in 1993. And it's really good today, especially for us women too. All right. So very helpful. January 20th says, you must learn how to make it. Wait a minute, what is today? Oh, the 21st. We read this yesterday. I was here yesterday. I came on live. Oh, Vaseline with my pencil. All right, so January the 21st. All right, because I'm going to say we read that already. I read that already. You are as much as you are right now. And that is a Yoruba proverb. And Iana says, we have such poor images of ourselves that we have difficulty understanding the good others see in us. When someone gives us a compliment, we are quick to point out what is wrong. Wow. When someone supports or encourages us, we remind them of our failures. We play ourselves down to such a degree that others begin to question the faith they have placed in us. This vicious cycle can only lower our already low self-esteem. Today is a good time to rethink our thoughts about ourselves. We can accept the compliments we receive when we give them to ourselves first. We can build our confidence by celebrating our small victories and successes. We can support the faith and trust others have in us by supporting and having faith in ourselves. It all begins with our willingness to acknowledge that we are really fine just the way we are. I really am okay with me. All right, that was really good. Really good, really good. Okay, so the first one is going to be this 23-year-old young lady was shot and unalived by an ex-boyfriend. I'm going to just let y'all hear the story. And of course, I'm going to point out the red flags so you could see the potentials, and then just find out really, I don't know if anything could have really been done to stop this. When people have an intention, that's why when you escape, sometimes you've got to go far away. You got to go far, far away in someplace else too, Yeah, you have to make a plan. And that's what I want us to do, is come up with something so we can help the people, because just leaving and going to your parents' house or going someplace else, these men are getting, and these abusers are, being determined. They're just determined, right? You break up with them, or you say something that they're not happy with, or like when we read the definition, the Mexican definition for femicide, right? These men are getting angry when you don't fulfill roles that they think that you're supposed to fulfill as a woman, right? And especially like if they thought that you were their woman, right? Think those are red flags when somebody said, you mine, right? You get away from anybody that says that, you belong to me. Those are scary words. Oops.
his ex-girlfriend after she recently broke up with him.
Wow.
What investigators say he revealed about the shooting during his chilling confession, and who else he told officers he would have killed.
Wow.
On December 20th, 2022.
December 20th, 2022.
At 7:40 a.m., 23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson was heading to work when she was confronted outside her residence by her former boyfriend, 23-year-old Carlos Lamont Jones.
Look at his face, y'all. Look at his eyes, right? You have to learn how to see this in the face. Look at this anger. He still looks pissed off.
After only 5 months of dating, he fatally shot Sha'Dayla 15 times with a semi-automatic gun that he purchased a week.
After 5 months.
Prior, because she did not answer his texts or telephone calls. His only regret is that he didn't also kill her father. How could someone be so heartless, and what would make a person throw their entire life away because someone they just recently started dating no longer desire to be with them? Welcome to Viral Crimes.
Wow.
Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Melbourne, Florida. Beautiful 23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson had her entire life ahead of her. She was described as an old soul that was wise beyond her years. Sha'Dayla was stunning with a smile that could light up a room. Sha'Dayla had wonderful energy and was very kind.
Who that sound like, y'all? Who that sound like? Don't that sound like Sha'Dayla? Right? It's a pattern, y'all. It's a pattern. So while we getting distracted on talking about one person, look at here. What about her? But I guess we already know who's got the person. Well, it's the same thing. We still waiting for justice. We still waiting for justice. So all I'm saying is that we can't just be focused on this one thing here. What about focusing on fixing this so we don't have to keep having this happen, right? Everything they're saying about her sounds like the exact same thing that they've been saying about Sha'Dayla.
She was the type of friend that you could count on.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh.
Did you hear him doing?
She was described as someone who always gave people the benefit of the doubt. She had dreams for her life, but sadly, she would never get the chance to experience all that life has to offer. On the morning of December 20th, 2022, at around 7:48 a.m., officers from the Melbourne Police Department were called to Colbert Circle in Melbourne, Florida, in response to a 911 call that reported a victim who had been shot. Officers discovered the victim, Sha'Dayla Johnson, lying face down and unconscious on the floor of the carport when they arrived on the scene. It appeared that Sha'Dayla had many gunshot wounds, most of which were located in the back of her body. This leads one to believe that she was shot while she was walking or fleeing away from the person who committed the crime.
Coward shot her in the back.
Sha'Dayla was transported by paramedics to the Holmes Regional Medical Center, where advanced resuscitation attempts were provided. Unfortunately, despite these efforts, she was unable to be resuscitated and passed away because of the gunshot wounds. According to Torrance, Sha'Dayla's father, he was relaxing in the chair in his living room just before the shooting took place, while his daughter Sha'Dayla was getting ready for work in the next room. Sha'Dayla left the house and made her way to her car at roughly 7:40 in the morning in order to go to work on time at 8 o'clock. She headed out to her vehicle to drive to work. After a few seconds, Torrance heard what sounded like a succession of gunshots, which prompted him to instantly jump off the chair and look out the window of the living room. When Torrance peered out the window, he saw Carlos standing behind Sha'Dayla's car and looking in the direction of their home.
Look at his eyes, y'all. Right? You got to learn how to look at these features and see, like, the eyes talk.
He only saw Carlos from the chest up. Because Carlos had been in a relationship with Sha'Dayla for the last 5 months, Torrance was able to recognize him. Carlos's car was parked behind Sha'Dayla's vehicle, blocking it in the driveway. Torrance went outside the front door to see what was going on. Once outside, he observed that Carlos and his vehicle had disappeared, and he found Sha'Dayla lying face down on the floor of the carport, in a pool of her own blood, next to the front of her vehicle. According to Sha'Dayla's father, Sha'Dayla and Carlos previously lived together, but the two of them got into a heated argument, and they broke up 2 weeks before the murder. She moved back in with her father. Carlos had been continuously calling and harassing Sha'Dayla in an attempt to convince her to continue their.
When you leave the abuser, this is the behavior that they're doing. If you getting away from somebody and they continuing to text you, call you, that is danger, danger, danger. You need to block them and go somewhere and do not tell them your location. Just like I was telling y'all in the Darrell Brooks case, the only reason why he was able to get out there is because she told Erica, the victim, who the intended victim, because he was mad like this guy because, she was getting away from him, and he wanted to unalive her. That is a red flag. Anybody that's, you say, hey, look, this ain't working out for us, and you try to leave and they just keep call, showing up on your job. These are red flag behaviors, and you are not safe unless you are somewhere that they don't know. You have to be gone for a good little while before to let them get all that negative energy, that hatred, that anger and rage out of their system, because they are looking for you to unleash it on. Because the amount of overkill, 15 shots.
Their relationship. But Sha'Dayla refused to speak to Carlos and would not communicate with him in any way, even ignoring his calls and messages.
So she did right on that. She did right on that. However, we see that that's not enough. You got to be somewhere where they don't know where you live at. Sometimes you may have to leave the state, change your job. Especially if you know that they have a history towards violence. If they got violent with you, that is a definite, urgent.
December 19th, Carlos made his last effort to get in touch with Sha'Dayla, but he was unsuccessful. So he showed up to Sha'Dayla's father's home and shot and killed her while she was preparing to leave for work. Carlos entered the lobby of the Palm Bay Police Department and voluntarily turned himself in at around 11 a.m. He made an unprompted statement that he was looking at potentially 35 years in jail, but he did not clarify as to why. Carlos provided a complete confession to investigators in which he said that earlier that morning, he decided that he would murder Sha'Dayla. He admitted to shooting her with a semi-automatic weapon that belonged to him. Carlos told investigators that he woke up in an enraged state that morning because Sha'Dayla had not been responding to his phone calls or messages. Carlos claims that this was the reason for his anger. Carlos said that he made the decision to shoot and murder Sha'Dayla right at that moment. He was aware that Sha'Dayla had to be at work at 8 a.m., so he drove to her residence in Colbert Circle just after 7:30 a.m. in order to confront and kill her. Carlos admitted to pulling his black Nissan sedan behind.
Look at him. Look like a spoiled brat. Entitled, "How dare you want to leave me?"
Sha'Dayla's vehicle in the driveway in order to block it in, and he confronted Sha'Dayla as she was exiting her front door to go to work. After he had a brief conversation with her, Sha'Dayla walked away from him and continued heading in the direction of her residence. That's when Carlos pointed his gun at Sha'Dayla while she was walking away from him and shot her 15 times in the back. Carlos said that he...
Coward. I hope y'all can see what I'm trying to show you in his face. You see that void? Look, he still looks angry. Even after the the eruption and stuff. It's going to be a while before this is sad. Super sad.
He estimated that he shot her 15 times because he only had 3 shots remaining in his magazine, and he came with a magazine that was completely loaded with 18 bullets. Sha'Dayla dropped onto the floor of the carport in front of her vehicle after being shot. Carlos said she was around 8 feet away when he shot and killed her.
Wow.
Carlos obtained the firearm and ammo that he used to kill Sha'Dayla from a nearby gun store about a week before the murder took place. He claims he first bought the weapon for the purpose of protecting himself, but later used it to shoot Sha'Dayla. After killing Sha'Dayla, he went to the apartment he was staying at, which was located in Melbourne, and changed his clothes there. He threw away the clothes he wore during the murder and a box of 9mm ammo in the trash at his apartment building. After discarding the evidence, Carlos exited his apartment. He drove onto the interstate and threw his pistol magazine, which included 3 rounds of 9mm ammo, out the passenger side window of his vehicle. After that, discarded his semi-automatic weapon in a storm drain at another location. Carlos said that his mother called him a few hours after the murder and begged him to surrender, so he did.
Okay, now that's a good mama, right? Instead of making excuses for him or help hiding him out, this mother begged him to turn himself in.
What his mother asked and turned himself in to the authorities. When asked whether he felt guilty about what he had done, he answered no, and added that if he had to do it all over again, he would have murdered Sha'Dayla and her father, Torrance. 23-year-old Jones was arrested by Melbourne police and charged with premeditated first-degree murder.
Developing at 4, a young woman is dead and her ex-boyfriend is accused of killing her. The situation unfolded early this morning in Brevard County.
Watch 2's Scott Heidler is live from the scene in Melbourne with brand new details tonight. So, Scott, what did you learn?
Well, Melbourne police just have identified the 23-year-old victim, and the suspect, her boyfriend, turned himself in to authorities just a little bit ago.
If you can have...
Oops. Wow. So what I'm wanting y'all to get out of this are the patterns, right? The patterns. And then, too, to see how this lady tried to do the right thing. She left. She wasn't even thinking about him anymore. But just know that those people are they're getting even more mad that you left and that you are not allowing them to hoover you back in there. Let's see here. JP6 says, if a man hit you once, then he is an abuser. That is true. That is true. That is true. And so many victims overlook that, right? They overlook it and they take them back. Even if you got to see more than just before, there's red flags before the actual hit. If someone blocks your way, if you're trying to leave, and hey, look what, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm about to get out of here, right? And he steps in front of you to block your way. That is abuse right there. He is intimidating you and wanting you to do, at that point, don't do anything. You don't try, because they're looking for you to push a button. These abusers, they're looking for you to push their button so they could, and then blame you for it. Look what you made me do, right? You got to see these red flags. You got to see these patterns. Them standing in front of you, blocking you from trying to leave, that is abuse. And something inside of you, you should feel something in your solar plexus area letting you know that this person is upset. They're upset and they're looking to raid you. The next step is grabbing you by the arm, to stop you, right? That is abuse. These are physicals, right? Because if you did like that to pull away, this could trigger that person to go ahead and hit you. So that's what I'm saying. We need to see these red flags. And I don't know. We just need to see the red. We need to warn these women that these are young women. She hadn't, didn't even have a chance. And nowadays, young women are so eager to be off in these relationships and stuff and not understanding the dangers that's in there. If these men, the males, are thinking that you're their possession,
Sha'Dayla Johnson was found shot several times this morning after
15
police were called in
times.
just before 8 a.m. to this house on Colbert Circle. Fire rescue immediately performed life-saving measures on arrival, but Johnson did not survive. Melbourne police confirming that her ex-boyfriend, Carlos Jones, who was initially a person of interest, turned himself in at 10:30 this morning to the Palm Bay Police Department. He was arrested by Melbourne police, charged with premeditated first-degree murder.
Wow.
Jones is also 23 years old. We spoke with a woman who said she's Johnson's aunt, saying that she was well supported here in the community.
Yeah, she was loved dearly. Beautiful soul, beautiful young lady. And this is
They said the same thing about Shanquilla, right? And those are the ones that get targeted, the sweet, innocent, the sweet giving, right? She was obviously ambitious. She was on her way to work. Who knows? Maybe she was supporting him and he got angry because she didn't want to be in the relationship to support him anymore. These men will get upset and be ready to unalive you if you choose not to participate with them. It's not safe.
been very tragic. I just can't say no more, sir.
Detectives and crime scene investigators focused on this vehicle soon after being called in, and CSI removed bags of evidence from the scene to determine what led up to the shooting.
The first time since he surrendered to police yesterday, a Melbourne man saw a judge on a charge of first-degree murder today. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Wormuth.
I'm Darlene Jones. Police say the suspect's ex-girlfriend was shot with a semi-automatic pistol that was purchased.
Wow,
only
that's
a week ago.
anger.
We first told you about the shooting here on Colbert Circle on Eyewitness News at noon yesterday. Channel 9's Melanie Holt is live at the Brevard County Jail for us this afternoon. And Mel, you learned chilling new details about the shooting, what police say the suspect did next.
That is true, Raw. Not just women, men are abused as well. That is true. And I'm going to definitely highlight some of those stories too, so the men could be aware. Especially what I really would like to do is that one, let me just come up here real quick. The one that I showed y'all on Friday could have been either way, right? It could have been a lot of times these women that are abusers, they'll do things to, get the guy arrested or, do those kind of things, right? To make it, the way you can tell who the narcissist is through the bad acting, right? We saw that lady, we felt the tension too, and there was no audio on there, right? Just talking. If it had been like she had been the one that was trying to get the guy in trouble, as soon as the police came in there, she would have been making all kind of noise. She sat there like a real scared victim, and we saw him flash her to look like, as soon as I get up out here, I'm going, you done, you toast, right? So you're looking at those kind of things, those kind of personalities. So yes, Raw, you are absolutely right. There are some women who abuse men, right? Even physically, right? And these men will keep restraint not to do anything back because obviously the man is stronger and a woman, you're not doing any real nothing. The man is allowing you to put the hands on. So that shows you how master manipulated a woman could be who is an abuser to be able to physically abuse someone who is physically stronger than you, right? What type of beat down to the mind do you do to a person to allow them to abuse you when physically you don't even have the capacity to? That's why I mean too about mental abuse is even worse than physical, right? So these women who are abused are almost worse than the men because of the mind manipulation. Severe.
Investigators
Thank
say
you,
shortly
Raw.
after this shooting, the suspect began tossing evidence. Later,
Hey.
he confessed to shooting his girlfriend after he tried but failed to get her back. 23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson, who you see here in a social media post, was on her way to work yesterday when Melbourne police say she was confronted by her ex, 23-year-old Carlos Jones. According to court records, Jones woke up in an angry state because Sha'Dayla had not been answering his phone calls or texts.
So she did nothing to him. She had been gone for 2 weeks, and his anger is still seething and festering and boiling. She moved on with her life. She's going to work.
Investigators say Jones decided to drive to Johnson's Colbert Circle home to confront and kill her.
Mr. Jones, I do find probable cause for your arrest.
Police say that Jones and Johnson exchanged some words in her driveway before he pointed his handgun and shot Johnson in the back 15 times. Johnson's father, who was
overkill, 15 times. 15 times. And that's why you don't go back to somebody who did any of that, even if they yell at you, standing in your way to block you, telling you that you're theirs. Anybody say that to you, be aware. Even if a woman tells you you're mine, right? Somebody is saying that you're their possession. They do not respect you as a person. They see you as their property.
inside of the house at the time heard the shots ring out.
Frankly, I have to determine that you're a danger to the public. So no bond is appropriate.
After the shooting, investigators say that Jones told them he discarded his clothing and tossed his weapon down a storm drain. Hours later, police say he received a call from his mother urging him to turn himself in. And he did at the Palm Bay Police Department. An investigator who arrived later said he asked Jones if he was remorseful, and he was told that if he had to do it all over again, he would kill Sha'Dayla and her father.
Wow. Oops. I think that's going to be about it on this video. Let me see here. Nope, a little bit more. But I've got to read some of these comments because this here is really touching me, y'all. Jamie says, not only am I a domestic violence survivor, my daughter is also, all at the hands of her own father. My daughter, didn't tell me until years later. He died before I got to confront him. Yeah. And like I said, that's why we don't promote moments of silence over here. We do moments of speaking where we're speaking out the names of these abusers and the survivors. We're speaking out the names of the victims, and we're speaking out the names of these abusers. Because this here, definitely sounds like traditionally what would be called as, a family secret, right? And this is other reasons why victims don't speak out. We don't speak out because of that. And Jennifer says at Beverly Cross, yes, women really become trapped after having children. Abusers depend on this. Yes. I'm so glad that y'all getting this. I know, this is not going to get heavily viewed, or people aren't going to be clamoring, coming over here. And it's because a lot of times these abusers don't want us to bring awareness for victims, right? Because now this is going to mess up their thing, right? Because they're counting on these victims to continue to accept the abuse. I love this word, trapped. Yes, women really become trapped after having children. And that's why a lot of them will try to knock you up with a baby real quick. Abusers depend on it. Yes. True, Jennifer. Jennifer says at Jamie, I am so sorry that happened to you and your daughter. Yes. I'm grateful that you guys are here surviving, and that you're still here. You're still here. Hey, Tanya. Tanya says, Jamie, so sorry to hear. I'm glad you were able to confront him so you will not live it forever. I think she said she wasn't able to. He expired before she was able to confront him. And Beverly says, I just rented the movie, The Woman King. The Woman King. Okay. And maybe we need to learn how to fight like these Amazon women. Yes. And also, get some shooting lessons, definitely some self-defense, right? Because just knowing that physically there's a tremendous difference in our strength and our ability to move. You're not going to be able to outrun them. You've got a tilted pelvis. And for them to use that physical advantage to submit us is not right. It's not right. So sad. Yes, yes, yes. So sad. See, Tanya says, Irene, I'm so glad this channel has gone this direction. I heard of a story as I watched true crimes against Black women. Wow. There are so many cases. Yes. Let all of us band together to beat this. Yes, thank y'all. Oh, thank you. And I knew this was like taking a chance and stuff, but like I said, I'm here because I want to make a difference for the living. If we focus solely, just think about it. The lady that we're Sha'Dayla, we're just looking at her story here. This happened in December, right? So this happened, that means that after Sha'Dayla, how many other people have still been, coming up unalived? Daily. So we can't just let them, make us feel like we're getting some justice by going around marching and say, oh, we need justice for Shan. Now we need justice for Sha'Dayla. And then whoever the next person we're about to show. And then I got a video from India. The Indian women are saying this too. Where are women safe? This is super sad. Did I finish this? Yeah, I did. Sorry. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. Was a great statement there. Beverly says Jennifer Hudson's sister, boyfriend, murked a whole. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Murked the whole family and left her sister to live with it. How evil was that? Yes. Yes. Just like this guy, yeah. And they do that, and the next one that I'm going to show you is going to be even more heinous, that these abusers enjoy inflicting pain on your family members and stuff. They enjoy hurting your family to get back at you. It's really sick. And that's why we have to protect the person. We got to put them in hiding, get them out somewhere. We got to come up with better something, because the one lady, the next one I'm going to show you guys, this lady had a restraining order, and this guy had, I don't want to tell the whole story. Let me just get a few more of these, and then we're going to finish up this one. And yes, OMG, my heart. Yes. Tanya said, what was interesting, he blocked her car, in the driveway. He was there with intentions. The same way, Sha'Dayla was surrounded, and the intentions, all the, stuff was there. He even admitted, I woke up this morning, I was pissed. Yep. Tanya says, and started shooting. Yes, exactly. I'm just grateful that her back was turned and she didn't have a thought of seeing what was getting ready to happen to her. And I'm grateful for that. 15 times, that's horrible. And that just shows the rage. Whenever anybody just do that kind of damage to the body, that is rage. Rage. Beverly says, Tanya Carr even blocked her car. Yes, he blocked us to make sure you ain't going nowhere. He had no intentions for her to see tomorrow. You don't want to be with me? Well, fine. Well, then time to check out. And look how common it is. I'm about to show y'all another video. I'm about to show y'all another one that just happened too. And it's going to sound exactly like this case. How many more Black women got to be unalived by these men and nothing's happening? They letting them out. Let's see. Tankar says, this was so sad. He was unhinged. Yes. All right. You see. These poor parents, how do they even go on after this? Exactly. All right, so I'm going to finish this one up here. It's almost done.
Some clothing from the suspect's apartment complex in a dumpster. They also recovered a weapon, the one they believed was used in this shooting. Live here at the Brevard County Jail. Melanie Holt, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
He is currently locked up at the Brevard County Jail for first-degree murder and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Sha'Dayla's friends and family are devastated by her untimely death. Her former teacher, Ms. Connor, stated that Sha'Dayla was emailing her about her college plans before she was tragically taken. She said, "To say I am devastated by this news is an understatement. I do not look for sympathy. All I ask is for us all to dig deep on how we can strengthen women to learn the warning signs of a man that should no longer have access to us. I am grateful for my time with this one, but I am angry at how something like this can happen to such a beautiful soul."
Yeah.
She was 23 with her whole life ahead of her. Please pray for Sha'Dayla's family.
And he probably hated this about her, that she was such a beautiful spirit, ambitious, and all that stuff, right? And if I can't have you, nobody else will.
Forever in your corner, sweet girl. What happened to Sha'Dayla was an awful tragedy, and it had to be devastating for a father to discover his daughter dead in that way. Who knows what happened between Sha'Dayla and Carlos while they were living together?
Look at his face, y'all. Look at them eyes. He does not care. He don't care. He's still mad. It probably happened so too fast, and he didn't suffer enough for him. No remorse. His only regret that he didn't use his last 3 bullets to take out her father.
That caused her to break up with him and move back in with her father. But she did the right thing, removing herself out of possibly a toxic or maybe even abusive situation, and cutting off all contact with her ex-boyfriend. If he would show such anger and rage at a refusal to answer his calls and text messages, he has probably shown her some sort of anger and rage before. Sadly, he couldn't just move on, but instead decided that she didn't deserve to live because she didn't want to be with him. My condolences to her friends and family and all of those who loved Sha'Dayla.
Wow. Wow. Let's see. Jennifer says at our end, it was so clear Daryl Brooks still has all this rage. I watched the whole trial and he blamed Erica for making him run people over. See there? He insinuated she was a liar and bad parent too. That's what I'm saying. These narcissists, these abusers, they will blame you. Look what you made me do. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, is because people would try to make it seem like it's this big thing, like he was, this terrorist, American terrorist. It was just domestic violence gone bad. That's it. He was mad. He just hit her with the car, the same car that he ran all those people over with. The same Ford, Ford Escape, the red Ford Escape. He broke her leg and hit her with the car, punched her, gave her a black eye. And his mother, enabling mother, bailed him out of jail. And then what did he do? The typical abuser behavior. Call the victim, text the victim, harass the victim until they get the victim to break down and start the communication. As soon as you accept their communication, you have made a grave mistake. You've messed up big time. He was able to get her to tell him, who had just tried to kill. Somebody hit you with a car. That's attempted murder. They tried to take your life. Why are you telling them where you at? She in a shelter for battered women. She brought the monster out there because of the psychological damage that these women go through. That's why you have to be careful. You can't help somebody who don't know they need help. She endangered all those people because she didn't care enough about herself to stay safe and removed from the abuse. So that's a good point. Yes. And he had the rage. And it kept escalating because his people kept bailing him out. He kept talking his way out of it. So, that's why he defended himself, because he really thought that he could talk his way out of it. I've been charming the people. I can talk my way out of it. But he's mad at her still that he's serving his time. He feels that she's responsible for this. You see, Beverly Foster says, my goodness, they would rather spend the rest of their life behind bars instead of moving on to a new relationship is more than I can comprehend. This mentality and forced sex is all about control. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it, right? I feel like I'm just waking up to this, and this is super serious. Super serious. Super serious. And I know, like, whenever if I'm back in my day when I was mingling or meeting around, those were red flags to me. Anybody who, tried to step in the way, or if I'm trying to go, or if I feel like they raised a voice or, said that thing like you mind or something like that, red flag. Pew, I am outie and I'm not inventing. No. Red flag, right? Or get mad or do that excessive texting and all that stuff and want to rush the relationship so quickly, like we just met, and you only known the person for 5 months and you're already living together and all. No. Red flag. That's red flag behavior. Hey, Lena said femicide and domestic need to be separate and need to be separated into different groups. Femicide, XY need to say XY who identify as women. Domestic is XXXY and XXXX. The message of femicide crimes will be lost. I don't understand that. I'm gonna drop the link if you want to come explain what that. I don't understand. See, femicide and domestic need to be separated into different groups. Femicide, XX through XY need to say XY who identify as a woman. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Domestic is XXXY and XXXX. The message of femicide crimes will be lost. I don't know if I really get that or not, but all right. So, Lena, I hope I got your point there, but I'm still gonna we'll drop this too in case anybody want to come up and give a testimony. The next video we're gonna see another young lady. Okay, we just saw her. The same reason. This here.
Have you ever wanted to build an income online but have
almost the same? Like, I want y'all to see these patterns and how common this is. Remember when I was showing that video of in Mexico, the Mexican men that was there for the domestic violence, right? And how they were saying it was commonplace. It's commonplace here too, y'all. It is commonplace here too. All right, so let me go on to pull this up here. This young lady's name, I think it's Montasia. Let me just play it so y'all I don't mess up the name. But It's the same thing.
And we couldn't protect her. We couldn't protect her. And then she went to the people that are supposed to do to protect her, and they couldn't protect her.
Beautiful 20-year-old Montasia Arrington was enjoying to be around. She had a wonderful personality and was full of life.
Okay, don't stop right there. Okay, did that just sound like the next lady that we just heard, Sha'Dayla, right? Sound like Shanquilla, right? And another Black woman. What is going on?
She was a mother to a 2-year-old who she loved and adored. Unfortunately, the father of her child was abusive and she was afraid of him. Tragically, her young life would be cut short after her baby's father would bail out of jail for assaulting her, then show up to her apartment, violating a protective order.
Whoa! Wow. That's why I'm saying you can't just go, sign the paper and say, I got a restraining order. You have to be aware that they hate you so much that the paper is not going to stop you. It's not going to stop them.
Would shoot her mother, then chase her down and shoot and kill her.
Wow.
How could he kill the mother of his child? And why wasn't there more protection for Montasia? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Littleton, North Carolina. 20-year-old Montasia Renee Arrington was always happy, smiling, and showing love to those around her.
Hey, Z.
Wow.
She graduated from Northwest Collegiate and Technical Academy in Littleton, North Carolina, with the class of 2019. Montasia loved cheerleading, and while in high school, she was a member of the cheer squad. She loved her family and friends and enjoyed bouncing around, laughing and playing.
Yeah, good question.
Montasia had a 2-year-old child, but was in an abusive relationship with the child's father, 23-year-old Montasia Tillery. Tillery was a registered sex offender and was violent towards Montasia. When he was 16, Tillery was convicted on April 5, 2017, for felonious restraint of a minor and sexual battery of a victim who was 14 at the time.
Oh, it's 16 and 14. I don't know. What y'all think? I don't know. 16 and 14, that's like kids do. I don't know.
The offenses occurred on January 30th, 2016.
But he said something about a restraint. I don't know. That sounds, I don't know.
Received 30 months probation and was added to the sex offender registry on April 7th, 2017 for a minimum period of 10 years.
Wow.
Montasia had been living with her mother, 48-year-old Teresa Arrington, and her child in an apartment in Littleton. During one of Tillery's visits to Montasia's apartment to see their child, Tillery lost his temper and physically assaulted Montasia.
Lost his temper. There we go again. What is going on that there's so much anger in these men? What's hurting them so much? Friday we were listening to, we had those men, content creators, and the one from, I'm so bad with names, but when there was the two guys that was up there talking, and he was talking about, these young men being hurt and victimized as children. He looks hurt, like somebody really hurt him too. We got some healing that needs, I don't know.
He stabbed Montasia with a knife. She managed to escape to a neighboring apartment where she called 911. Police arrived at the apartment and discovered Montasia had been cut with a knife and had additional injuries as a result of the attack.
What?
Hillary fled the apartment before the police arrived. A few minutes later, he was spotted in the same general vicinity and was arrested and placed in jail. At first, he was held in custody without the possibility of being released on bail. But later, the judge set a $40,000 bond, and he was able to bail out of jail. Sadly, this decision would have fatal consequences. Montasia was terrified of Tillery and obtained a domestic violence protective order against him.
I wonder if they told her that they letting this person out. That's why I'm saying you got to leave. You got to go someplace. Yes, JP6, please send me the article. Let me see here. You had said, JP6 says there is another type of domestic violence that is not discussed at all. Yeah. Please enlighten us. Please enlighten us. Like I said, this is new. Like I've heard about this kind of stuff. Like I would see it on those little ID networks and all those kind of things. This is the same stuff, right? They get mad when you want to get out of the relationship and just erupt with rage and anger. And it's like, oops, oh well. Oops, my bad. I'm up here.
Seriously? These are the best.
I don't know, y'all. This is really ultra sad. Ultra sad. And serious too, y'all. Jennifer says, Lena, that's a really great point. I agree. What did Lena say? Okay. Oh, this is the one that I was lost on. Yeah. I think I may have kind of got the point a little bit here. Jennifer said, oh, yeah, you already said that. A really great point. Tanya says, I heard of this a few weeks back, and I was sickening as I have a 23-year-old daughter. Yes. And I had heard it too. Somebody had brought it up to the chat. But, I was like, oh, I'm only focused on Sharon Quill. And I'm not saying that that's not a good thing to, put energy or focus to. But I'm like, what about these other people too? And then the people that are still here, like the ones that we could really warn to say, hey, leaving and going back to your parents' house is not a good idea, because now you're putting, your people also in danger too. You may have to be gone for 90 days into like an underground something, right? Especially if they are seriously, really trying to keep contacting you. This is just going to keep building up the rage and anger in them. That lets you know that you are not safe any place that they know where you're at. You have to take it serious, right? You have to take, because you only have to be unalive once. Unalive once. Let's see here. Jennifer says at Sarai, if you look at this guy's face, I'm willing to bet he has a record and probably drug issues. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying too. We need to start warning our daughters on, what to look for and stuff, But nowadays, these young people, this isn't, this is a rapper look, right? Or, I mean, like this is the look that, it's not like this is mild. Like a lot of them have tattoos all over the face and stuff, right? This is mild. And then, they see that in their, the people nowadays, this whole look here is, they're doing it. What's up, baby queen? Baby queen said, if a man yells at you or raises his voice too much, that's too much. It starts verbally. Yep. Don't tolerate it. Exactly. Because that's the testing game too, right? Like I said, nobody just comes right out and punch you in the nose, right? They test to see how much abuse they could put on you. So by doing things, by even belittling you, devaluing you verbally, all kind of stuff, you know what I mean? You know, though that's abuse. And then they see how much you accept. Then if I could yell, raise my voice, call you stupid or any of these kind of names in the loud voice, the next thing you're going to get shook or pushed or grabbed or tossed. These are red flags. And that's already 10 behavior right there. So Jennifer says at Beverly Foster, that's a good point too. Do you think after being in jail for dozens of years that he may regret this or no? Tanya Carr says, RN, so true. If they isolate you from your friends and family is another sign. Yes, this young lady was beautiful. Exactly. All right. So I think, is this the email? Okay, I will do an impromptu. All right. So we're going to finish up this little story here, and then JP, we're going to watch what you just shared with the group. All right. So let me scoop. Okay. Let me just get these new folks that didn't showed up here. What's up, Ernie? Ernie, thank you so much. Now that's a coward. Yeah, shooting in the back. I heard that. That's exactly what I thought too. All right, members. See, Jennifer, Beverly Foster says at Jennifer Smith, nope, that is where they learn to be better criminals. What, in prison? Yeah, exactly. And this guy, I mean, he was, okay, so he's been arrested for stabbing her, assaulting her with a deadly weapon. And now he's bailed out. Hey, Wonder Word says, hello all. I'd like to know about the young boy that suffered the brain damage after being burned at a sleepover. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Beverly Foster says, Ernie Williams, in my own experience, abusers don't attack someone that can challenge them physically. Exactly. Yep. And that's what makes this abuse on XXs so horrible, right? Let's see. Beverly Foster, truth. Abusers are cowards and bullies. They don't go after people that pose challenges to them. Yep, that is true. Super true. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this here.
With a deadly weapon with intent to kill, firing into an occupied dwelling, and possession of a firearm by a felon. The United States Marshal Service Fugitive Task Force joined the Littleton Police in its search for Tillery.
Now the news. A manhunt is underway in Halifax County. Authorities are looking for Jamasia Tillery.
Officers say he's accused of shooting and killing the mother of his child, Montasia Arrington. Just 2 weeks prior, Tillery was charged with stabbing her and then released on bond. In a story you'll only see on WRAL, Keenan Willard talks with Arrington's family and the judge who gave Tillery bond after the first assault.
Yes.
I think the ghost fucked my husband.
Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. Woo, wow. All right. Ernie Williams says, women, protect yourselves by any means necessary. Yes. I think Beverly was the one that said, we need to take some like a self-defense class, learn some karate or some kung fu, something like that. Something to be able to, protect yourself. Get to the shooting range. I keep telling myself I need to go do that so I can be more comfortable, with strap and all that good stuff. And to, this is wow. Wow. Thank you, Ernie, for telling us women that. And see, Wanda Word says, I am a MTST survivor. Man, I don't know those initials, but a survivor. I'm happy for you and your survivor surviving something. Hopefully y'all gonna tell me what you survived down here in the bottom. Okay, JP got me another little something here.
Day 3 of a search for 22-year-old Jamaziah Tillery. The police chief says they're working with multiple agencies to find him, and they're not sure if he's still in the area.
At this point, you don't really know. So.
Oh, that he's at large? They haven't found him?
I'd really like to see his picture put out there again, so that everybody, if they do see him, they can contact someone and let us know about it.
The reason for the manhunt? Police say on Tuesday, Tillery broke in the home of Montasia Arrington, the mother of his child. Police say Tillery shot and killed Arrington and wounded her mother before escaping.
They're responsible for that. This woman had been stabbed and cut up with a knife in her home already. That's what I'm saying. I bet you this is going to be a man judge.
She got shot trying to save Montasia. So, she pushed Montasia out the way and told her to run.
Arrington's grandmother says she was a kind and loving young woman. With Tillery on the loose, their family is
on the loose.
He still has not been caught. And it's just terrible. It's terrible. I fear for my other granddaughters.
They also say this.
He looks mad in this. Look at the anger in his face.
Wasn't the first time Tillery threatened Arrington's life.
A few weeks ago, he came visiting the baby. He attacked her with a knife.
Wow.
He cut her leg and her hand.
Tillery was arrested and charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill,
wow,
as well as assault on a female. On April 4th, Arrington went before the court to ask them to keep Tillery in jail.
She was scared of him. She was scared of him, and she didn't want him to get out on bond.
So she went to the court. She went to the court. I'm scared. She went to the court. I'm scared. I fear for my life. And they let him out.
They didn't want him to have no bond. And so, because she feared for her life with him.
Court records appear to show Tillery was initially taken in with no bond, but it was modified. Judge W. Turner Stevenson gave Tillery a bond of $40,000.
Y'all hear that? Modified. So they purposely let this animal out to go do this. Why? Why did you modify it, Judge? Because these men show favor to other men. They don't really see this as a real crime if it's done to a woman or it's just a woman. Y'all don't see that they're looking at us as second. We're not people, right? This male judge modified this after this male stabbed this woman, assaulted her, and they even charged him with intent to kill. Why would you modify the bail that was already restricted? That means you purposely did it. After she went to court to say, please don't bail him out, I'm scared.
On the condition that he stayed away from Arrington and didn't carry a gun.
What?
Tillery bonded out the next day. 2 weeks later, he allegedly shot and killed Arrington.
He was under the impression that he wasn't getting a bond and that he was going to be locked up. This mama had a baby. She got a little boy that would never know his mom.
We got the phone number for the judge who set the bond.
Yes.
He tells us Tillery's records only said no bond at first because he was arrested on the weekend. And that doesn't get decided until an appearance before a judge.
He was really not charged with anything that he would have gotten no bond.
What? How not? They gave him no bond because it was assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. What is this guy saying?
We would have a jail with thousands of people in it if all the domestic cases stayed no bond.
Judge Stevenson said at the
all the domestic cases stayed no bond. So when he saw that it was a domestic case, oh, if he had taken the time to read the facts on the case, he would have saw that this victim, the woman, went to the courts to say, do not give this guy bail. He wants to unalive me. I'm scared. Did you hear the words he said, y'all? He said, oh, if we kept all the domestic violence cases, the jails would be packed. He's showing y'all that he's saying he's showing favor to those who are arrested for domestic violence.
the time, he believed $40,000 was going to be enough
Wow.
to keep Tillery in jail.
I mean, in hindsight, sure, I would like to go back and he have no bond and still be in jail today, but
oh well.
I don't get the luxury of knowing what we know now when I'm setting a bond.
But why didn't you read the chart? Why didn't you read the case? How did you make the assessment for the 40,000? How? If you did, how are you making that assessment? You didn't read the history. You didn't do a H&P, a history and physical, or something. I don't know how the law does it, but we over in the medical, an assessment should have been made.
Arrington's family says it was plain to see that Tillery posed a threat. They feel the justice system failed her.
Yes.
She wanted somebody to protect her, and we couldn't protect her.
Oh.
We couldn't protect her. And then she went to the people that are supposed to do the protecting.
And that's how we all over here crying out sad that nobody listening to us Black women who's being unalive. Look at her grandma. Look at her grandma. And they let the monster out. They let him out.
And they couldn't protect her.
Keenan Willard, WREL News, Halifax County.
Wow. I understand why a family would be just enraged.
On April 21st, Tillery was located and arrested.
Okay.
Police confirmed that Tillery's child, who is approximately 2 years old, is safe and living with other family members. He was found at a residence in Raleigh. The Littleton Police Department officers were able to locate him thanks to tips to the Roanoke Police Department and the Halifax County Sheriff's Office. He is currently being held in the Wake County Detention.
So that means he had enablers, right? We saw the first case. The mama said, look, turn yourself in, right? So at least we give some respect to the mama. Where are his people at that said to turn him in, right? He was over there. Somebody was giving him shelter. Somebody was keeping him up.
Center on no bond. What happened to Montasia was a tragedy.
Yes.
She was afraid of her baby's father and tried to get protection from the courts, but sadly, she wasn't protected. She should be here. And now a 2-year-old little boy is without his mother. My condolences to all of those who knew and loved Montasia. May you continue to heal and one day find.
Yeah, that was good. All right. So now I'm going to pull up JP's piece here. So we're going to supposedly be introduced to a type of violence that's, what do you say? I forgot the message, but a new something that they don't talk about. So again, this here is a contribution from JP6, and we're going to see what they're saying. Cyrus Ross says, when you have a sick predator family member like that, get them some therapy. That's the only prevention. Yes. And to telling other people, don't go around Uncle Perry because he molests kids. Ernie Williams says, God bless you, Sister Foster. That's just the man I am. Yes, and we appreciate you too. Like, I appreciate the real men that's actually standing up to, protect the women. That's y'all's position to do that. And we just want to understand what the whole hatred is. Like, why so much anger to where you want to see the women you want, like, why? I don't get it. Like, why is this such a horrible thing that they, if the woman wants to leave, why? You see, it's me, Lisa Lee says demon eyes. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Check out those eyes and stuff. Check the people's energy and stuff, right? Anybody who is that obsessed with you that you just met, right? And I screen them out in the beginning, right? If you just meeting a person, and every 20 minutes they're sending you text messages, multiple messages through every day, throughout the day, that's a problem. That person's going to be a problem. That person is a problem. Get out of there and don't even invest any time. Don't invest any time. Don't get entangled with that. That is, oh no, red flag, and trying to take all of your time. And these are techniques that they use to, get you hooked. Jennifer Smith says, this all reminds me of an incident last summer in New York. 20-year-old woman was pushing her baby in a stroller, and baby fathers comes up and executes her. 1 bullet, point blank range. She's gone. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is so typical. So typical. We gotta be careful. Careful. Let me go on over to this email here. Let me see here. I'm curious to see this new, here you go, email over here. This new abuse, I think that's what he said, new abuse that we are having up here. Beverly says, to be honest, maybe I'm blind, because if I saw that guy in a different situation, I would have not thought it was a potential murderer. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You got to check these behaviors and stuff. At obsessive calling or wanting to isolate you from your friends and family, be aware, because these are all strategic tactics. So that way, when they get you isolated, that's when they could start abusing you, and then you don't have no help. Nobody is coming to check for you or any of those things. Okay, here we go. All right. Woman accused of murder and child abuse in St. Louis. Okay. Texas mom accused of killing daughter. Ooh. All right. So JP has 6. All right. So see here, we got our choices are. Okay. So a circle. Let's see. Suicide, mother and daughter found dead 6-year-old child. Okay, I'm just going to do this last one here that you just sent up here. Let me see what they looking like. How long? This is just an article. All right. I'm worried here. All right, so let me see here. Let me go. JP, okay, we'll do this one here. Okay, they're all, no, this one here I think got a video to it. All right, here, let's see if we could see this. Is this it? Let me get it back. Let me find it first. Oh, that's it right here. All right. Ooh. All right. So just, okay, how do I get this off? Close. Okay, y'all. Y'all see it? All right. Remember how I was saying that it's not just men. I haven't even seen the story yet, but I can see through this picture that this person has a evil spirit on them. Most of them will have this frown, this smile, everything. See this anger in the face? Look at that. See how this mouth is turned down like that? These are telltale signs right here. Look at the eyes. See that? I bet you this is the wicked person right here. Look at that. All right, here we go. Let's hear the story. But I hope y'all see this, right? The next time you see, like, look here. See how this mouth is kind of frowned down like that in the eyes with the anger in it, and you can see the entitlement in the face like that. These are features that you need to be aware of. This is wickedness.
Melissa Town was not present in court Monday when authorities detailed how she confessed to murdering her 5-year-old daughter.
I knew it.
The defendant stated she wanted to end the complainant's life because she was an evil child and did not want to deal with her anymore.
Wow.
Town apparently admitted to police that she brought her daughter to Spring Creek Park in Tomball, sliced her throat with a knife, put a trash bag over her head, then strangled and suffocated her for nearly 45 minutes.
Wow.
Authorities say she then put her 5-year-old in a mesh laundry bag and took her to the hospital.
The defendant stated that the complainant yelled, "I've been good," and the defendant replied, "Stop fighting it."
We've always known her to have some mental problems. I've called the cops on her several times.
Next door neighbors like Alan Farr reported a pattern.
Wow. Remember how I was saying how, this domestic violence, people are going unprotected, women and children, right? Here's a neighbor, a man saying that this lady's a nut, but they still left this child with her, right? Like I said, back in my day, if you wanted to beat the hell out of your kids, you did. Nobody did anything because them your kids. If you want to beat the hell out of them, that's what you do, right? In the same way, if her old man was kicking her butt, nobody did anything. And this is how people end up out of here.
Pattern of odd behavior.
She would have arguments with my mailbox. At one point, she had a car that she was hitting with a baseball bat.
I know I called at least 4 times.
Another person said, I know I called at least 4 times. So why did the authorities leave the child with the person like that? Oh my goodness.
I know other people in
And
the
other
area
people in the
called,
neighborhood
so-
did too, because you could hear her screaming, and you would think something was wrong. I feel like the system failed here. Because,
Wow.
Something could have been done a long time ago, and this little girl would not have suffered what she
Oh, that's horrible. This was a really quick, small clip. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the end of it. Wow, that was a great share, JP6. That was awesome to, yeah. Okay, but you saw she had the spirit on her like that, and then there's, that's what I'm saying. You need to be looking like that because there's a lot of people out there with these demonic spirits on them, or whatever you want to call it, psychopaths, all these things. You need to learn how to recognize and see that, right? That's super sad that lady said she called 4 times, and the one man said he called a few times, right? That was just 2 random neighbors. And the system don't give a hoot, right? I had did a video on this one 10-year-old kid. I know a lot of other people did too. 10-year-old kid who unalived his mother because she didn't buy him the virtual Amazon gift. Right? Y'all heard about that, right? Why did, when the police got there, the 10-year-old said he confessed to shooting the mom? Why did they leave him with other family members? If nothing else, he should have been in the hospital getting some evaluation. You just blew your mom's face off. Why did they leave somebody like that just with the grandma and the sister? And then the next day they had to say, hey, look, he said he did it on purpose. We're gonna get that, they scared because the system don't do anything, right? Didn't do anything. They failed. That mother had been taking the kid to get some therapy and had got an alarming diagnosis. Why did they let the child go back home with the mother? He should have been put in an institution at that time. That's dangerous. If the police been out there all this time, they knew that she had a minor child, why didn't they take that child in protective custody? Why did they leave that child with the crazy mother? Why? Yeah. All right, so the last video I'm going to play, I've just found this YouTuber, this is an older lady, and she is, I didn't put it on the title here, but she's talking about how to spot a down low, a DL, man. And this is coming from an older lady. And the reason why I'm, talking about these subjects, I know y'all probably don't believe me, but these all tie in together to the whole Shanquilla Robinson case, because when, the question of the gender kept coming up, people are, wanting these answers and stuff. So this content creator, and then a lot of people were putting up comments too about why they want this to be swept under the carpet and all this stuff. It's because this behavior has been secret, closeted behavior that a lot of ex-wives participate in, and shedding light on this subject is making people uncomfortable. And some people are willing to, go through great lengths to make sure that this stuff doesn't, get exposed. So I didn't get a chance to
Searching for a new Dodge?
At her. But this here is going to be from Miss Faye's World, right? I'm real, the first time, like I said, the algorithm be feeding me good nuggets here. And we're going to take a time, on her channel here and listen to this information. I think it's very interesting. Like I said, with age comes wisdom. So I'm just interested to hear her take on this whole DL's men on the DL, down low. These are some, terms that happens, in this world here. Beverly is saying, Jennifer Smith, and this situation is mad crazy because who's going to take care of the baby? Yes, exactly. But they're not caring about that. These abusers are only caring about themselves. And when they have this hurt, when you do give them a narc injury, you are really risking your life. Queen BG says, being a survivor of narcissistic violent abuse, I'm glad I left after 2 decades. Oh no. Of the abuse, and now distancing myself from having new relationships makes me feel safe. Yes. Once you get out of this kind of relationship, it definitely, make you feel very tense about getting off into it again, because you feel so blessed that you were able to escape, right? Have to escape. And I'm glad that you were able to get out of that. Like I was saying, the studies show that, women or the victims will leave and come back up to 7 times before they finally get the strength to get out and stay out, right? Which is something that you've got to do. And again, the link is still here. If anybody want to come up and tell their testimony, free to do that. Jennifer says at Beverly Foster, so many children end up being casualties. They grow up in the system, most likely suffer their own abuse and horrors, and repeat the cycles. Yes. That's so true. That's how this thing starts. Beverly Fox says, y'all, this is red hot, serious topic. I hope you all did hit the like button, and please share this video with every man, woman, and child. Yes, because 5 years old, and to go so viciously, right? And the sad thing is that neighbors tried to intervene, you know, they called the police. I mean, what else more could they have done? You know, I don't know, right? The one lady said she did 4 times. She didn't want her face to be shown, right? Because people probably feel horrible knowing that this happened to the poor child when they tried to get help. Why aren't these officers like, you know, really, I don't know, like some type of assessment, right? If people are calling, you know, are these, you know, places booked up where there's no help? Like, why didn't the child get taken from that? How are you allowing someone who's clearly showing some delusional thinking and behavior to be responsible for a child? How'd y'all leave the child? That's child endangerment. How did they release the child or leave the child in the custody of the mom who's having psychotic breakthroughs? Right? The neighbors said, hey, look, you know. All right, so see here, Jennifer, everybody's saying some good stuff here. I appreciate y'all. I know we short in here, but like I said, I'm really more concerned about getting this message out about safety too, especially like I said, every day. And somebody else put in there the statistics like 5 Black women are getting, you know, unalived on a day-to-day basis by Black men. Tanya says, Lena, we do not have femicides in the U.S. Yeah, we call them domestic violence, right? Because we just saw 2 young ladies who was unalived by the men in their lives. And 2, if we go back and read the Mexican definition of femicide, that's exactly what they were unalived for, right? They were fulfill their roles as being, you know, the girlfriend or the property of these men here. All right, so here we go. We got Miss Faye's World.
So much for supporting this channel and leaving your wonderful comments. I really enjoyed reading them. And
it says how to spot a man on the down low.
The down low man and how to spot him. This is a really, really serious and hot topic.
Yep, I agree with you. Because
it is really happening all over. I heard a report the other day where a fellow said that 90-some% of Black men are on the down low. I hope that statistic is not correct.
Me too. 97%.
But
she said Black men. What?
It's scary if it is.
It sure is.
It's scary if it is. And I don't think the percentage is close to being in the 90%.
Yeah, I hope not.
Right? But I do.
Well, who knows?
Know that
maybe that's why they're so angry and bitter, and we start questioning, you know, the gender like that, right? Or highlighting that population, right? Because I would just don't understand why people are getting upset about it. Like, you know, all of a sudden, you know, talking about aliens or something. Like, you know, people exist. Lena says femicide and domestic violence need to be separate or the message may be lost. Yeah, and I think that's probably why I didn't really put like a I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I just feel like it's the same thing though. Let's see here. Jennifer says abuse gets off on snuffing the light out of their abusers get off on snuffing the life out of their victims. It's like they resent their victims' happiness and peace and are hell-bent on destroying it instead of trying to share in it. Yeah, that is so true. She probably didn't know about his sexual offense. Yeah. And sex seems to be involved in this stuff too. It's me, Lisa Lee says, well, if it's against her will, that is a sex. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Let's see here. Tanya says, be early. Is that somebody up there? It's not classified as femicide in the U.S. This is what I meant. Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, like we never used that term. I'm just newly becoming familiar with it after, learning about the Shanquilla Robinson case, because that was the charge that they gave the attacker. It's me, Lisa says, his eyes look blank. Yes. All right. So I'm low. We're going to jump down here a little bit. See any more news. Hey, let's see. Kyrania. What's up, Kyrania? Kyrania says, that's why I encourage all women to carry. You are responsible for your own safety, not the police. Yeah, we see that. We see that. And to be thinking ahead. Don't just think that you can just go, move next door, move back to your mama's house. You got to be hidden, right? You got to go hide somewhere. You got to be gone until the thing kind of blows up, because they are, you see, even 2 weeks later, this guy, right? So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We can't count on anybody to protect us here. See, Jennifer says, I don't understand how you can stab someone and just get bailed out. Thank you. Because it was a woman. He said domestic violence. Listen to what the judge said. He didn't even read the case. All he said was, hey, we can't hold out the domestic violence up here. The jail to be too full. He didn't care about the lady's life. She had went there. If he had read the case, he would have read that the victim has come up there pleading not to let the guy out because of the fear. That just shows how most of the males in the society don't really care much about the women. Even the system. He specifically said the domestic violence. We can't keep all the domestic violence up in here. And the domestic violence are usually crimes against women and children. Absolutely right. Let's see here. Any newcomers? Board members. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish what Miss, I'm so bad with names. This lady is saying.
Prevalent out here.
Yes, it is.
And I want to help you ladies to spot it, because these men, other than being just totally deceptive.
She about to kick some knowledge on here. He said, let's see, Beverly says, those protective orders are as useful as toilet paper. I know, huh? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is alarming to me. Like, what do we do? What could either one of them have done differently? Like, I know we sitting here on hindsight saying, you got to go into hiding and stuff like that. But how do we, what do we say to the ones like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she did all she could do. So now this, to me, this is all the system's fault, because he should not have been given a bail when he was already rejected. So that means that you had to do something to change it. Y'all don't mind leaving people in jail for all this time, but because of the domestic violence, you showed favor. He got favor. He got favor. He was shown favor because it was domestic violence, right? That's what they do. They slap each other on the wrist.
Threatening to us. Now, there are some women out there who don't mind. if their men are, we'll say bisexual to be kind. We'll say they're bisexual. And some women, the term, they don't care, as long as everything is good with them. But for me, I require monogamy. If you're going to be with me, that's one of my requirements.
Good luck.
Period. No women, no men, no nothing. Just me.
Good luck.
Now, that's because I love myself and I respect myself.
Yeah, I feel you. I just say good luck finding it.
I'm not trying to judge anybody. I'm not trying to judge anybody. But I just want to give you some information to help you spot it.
Okay.
If this is an issue for you. Okay. Number one, men on the down low are very extremely homophobic. I know the man that I dated that was on the down low for 6 years. When we first started dating, he was so homophobic until I would ask him, why are you so down on the gays? I mean, what is your issue? And he really couldn't pinpoint anything. It was just that he definitely did not like gay people. Okay. Extremely homophobic. So, guess what?
Kyrania says, I see so many emotionally unstable young men who have been coddled and held up when they're wrong. Yeah. Who haven't been taught the word no. Yeah. So then when they get told no, they just erupt in anger and go off and, unalive somebody. This is so true. And that's why I'm saying we can't just say that it's just the men, because most of the time the coddling has come from a woman, the mother, the grandmother, So, yeah. All right. JP6 says, Ernie, he will have to check in. Hey, what's going on, James Tippin? James Tippin says, come to Christ and be saved. Thank you, James. Sharon says, that is true. So true, RN. Being careful about those who want to isolate you from your family. Yes. Because once you get isolated, then they could do whatever they want to do with you, right? And then if they have control, a lot of times they end up, you end up giving all the control over to them. And then you have no one to protect you, or, because they've got you isolated by drowning you with all this affection and giving you all that attention in the beginning. They try to get you addicted to them, right? These are all strategies. JP6 says there are worse than those. Beverly says, y'all, some men like to talk to look a certain way to their friends, and they embellish to look macho. The impressionable friend may take him seriously and treat his wife like he heard his friend did. Yeah, and then like I said, they working together, If your friend is beating his wife or his girlfriend and y'all still hanging out, that says a lot about you too.
Surprised when I found out that he was gay.
Oh.
That he was on the down low. He was sleeping with men while he was pretending to be so homophobic. You see, they'll do a lot of things to try to cover it up.
Wow.
They, say a lot of things or whatever. But as soon as you turn your back and a man passes by, they're trying to peep.
Yes, that's true.
Peep at the man. Now, another sign of these DL men is that they're always in that phone. They're always in that phone. And it's probably on silent or vibrate, in case somebody want to contact them. But I remember mine was constantly in that phone, like was mesmerized by the phone. Now they won't share the phone with you, let you see what they're looking at or anything like that. They're not going to hand their phones over to you because there's a lot of incriminating evidence on the phone. You see what I mean? incriminating evidence on the phone. Now, men on the down low consider themselves as heterosexual men. Even if you ask them, that's what they'll tell you. They are heterosexual. You see? But I guess once in a while, or whatever, they like to be with a man. But I remember my DL man had a friend when we first met. And it was a strange kind of friendship because the friend was always asking him if he needed anything, you know, arguing with him like a woman would about something that he's done. And they would just have a big fight and fall out. You know, men don't usually behave like that. Usually, with a man, if they have an argument and fight it out, either they make up or it's over. But with the DL man that I was involved with his friend, it was an ongoing thing that they had been friends since childhood. You see? And I remember.
Wow. You know, so Angela is saying here, even if the parent is unfit, the police and agencies act as if the parental rights are sacred. And that's why I'm saying, like, the kids aren't even safe, right? They do the same thing with the domestic violence. Well, that's his wife. Wow. Sharon says, in my experience in a narcissistic relationship, I realized it was affecting my ability to open myself up totally in a relationship, even 20 years or more later. Yeah. And that's exactly how they want you to stay scared and stuck to. That's why it's important to heal so you can, you know, get into a healthy relationship. Otherwise, you'll just be attracting a new narcissist, a new abuser. Beverly says at Angela, glad to see you back during this hot topic. Yeah, I thank y'all so much, you see. Beverly says 97%, I doubt it. Yeah, about them being, yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't, you know, I didn't hear anything like that. That does sound like a big number. I don't know. Maybe I need to look off into it. That is bad math. Yeah. Thank you, JP. Sharon says, it took me finally opening up in a relationship to realize the trauma and its long-term effects on me at age 62. Yeah, okay. So here, this lady here, you know, she's, like I said, you know, I'm 52. So, you know, we are Gen X here. And then also this generation here too, you know, these boomers.
Remember when I asked him about the friend, because when I was with him, I didn't know anything about men on the down low. I that was the furthest thing from my mind. But it was some things that came up during our relationship that I asked him about it. And I asked him about his friend. And he said, yeah, well, I kind of suspected him anyway.
Yes.
You see?
Angela says, in a patriarchal society, the laws favor men. Wow. Wow.
This is what the DL men would do to deflect it from them to somebody else. Now, my DL man also was a narcissist. So if you are engaged with a narcissist, him sleeping with other men is not far-fetched.
That's true. Because a lot of them, they're, you know, the sex to them is not, you know, it doesn't matter who it's with, you know, him, her, in someone's hand, someone's anus, someone's vagina. It doesn't matter. Like they're just, that's, you know, some of them, a lot of them are serial cheaters, right? So you want to be very careful if you're being with someone who is a serial cheater, and especially if they're engaging in, you know, sexual places that, you know, really wasn't meant to do that too, you know. The rectum is filled with nice big blood vessels in there and stuff. That is just not a, you know, it's not it's not a safe space to do that kind of behavior. Let me see. I think I should have done this one last. Let me move here. I need to show y'all the Indian people first. This one's short, but I just wanted to show. We saw the two American ones, and someone was saying about trying to separate femicide from domestic violence. So here, I'm just going to show y'all how in other areas, this here is pretty quick too. This is it. Stop it. That this, and then, because the other lady, I just realized kind of the subject is a little bit different. I don't think those really, that don't match up. All right, here we go. This here says
the year is 2005.
Domestic violence in India, the issue, the law, and solution. So this here is 2005 when they're starting to do something about their laws for domestic violence. And here we see is another country where we would think that, you know, they value the women over there, beautiful women, right? And we got these passport bros who are trying to go over to different countries thinking they finding these submissive women. And then if we're gonna hear that the women over there are being treated poorly also, like, you know, where are the women safe?
Lakshmi sits down to read the newspaper and reads a headline. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Bill has been passed and will soon be an act. She reads the article.
Wow. So it's not even in force. They said will soon be passed, right? So they just now making laws over there for this.
And this tells her that domestic violence includes acts of physical, sexual, verbal, and economic violence, and that the act
physical, sexual, verbal, and economic
will apply to all women in all parts of India, irrespective of marital status and religion. Lakshmi's husband Vinod told her after marriage that she would not need to work outside the house as he made enough money for both of them and that she did not have to shoulder the financial.
I'm just laughing at the features on the face. Look at how, you know, he's putting his foot down. He's telling, you know, and this is the culture. Even here, like this is what they try to gaslight you into believing that you need to be submissive and accept this type of behavior, right? There's a way, I don't know. Let me just let this go. But okay, now he's already setting down the law here.
Burden. But Lakshmi wanted to put her education to use, so she asked Vinod.
She wanted to put her education to use.
Vinod one day if she could apply for a job. Vinod got angry and slapped her across the face.
Wow, for just asking. Because to him, this is my property. I make enough money. Why are you trying to work? Wow.
So now, as Lakshmi is reading the newspaper, she is beginning to understand that there is a name for what she has been through. She understands that she has been a victim of domestic violence. Domestic violence is a broad topic with many layers, but a basic definition would be that it refers to harm caused to the safety, life, health, and well-being of a person. This can be physical violence, which includes hitting and other bodily harm. The case of Vinod slapping Lakshmi happened only once in the course of their 5-year marriage. But the frequency of the act does not come into consideration here. So
yep, somebody else said if they hit you once, they are an abuser.
Even this one instance does count as domestic violence. Sexual assault is also a form of domestic violence. Although marital rape is not recognized as a crime in India,
I don't think it's recognized as a crime in America. Like, you can't rape your wife.
A husband forcing his wife to engage in sex can be considered an act of cruelty. Domestic violence can also be psychological, which can be an insult communicated verbally or controlling every aspect of a person's life. Reading this, Lakshmi is reminded of her friend Anu, whose in-laws call her names because she has not had children despite being married for 3 years. She thinks about sharing the news about the Domestic Violence Act with Anu. Another form of domestic violence is economic, such as monitoring a person's access to money and keeping them financially dependent. This form of violence is also applicable to Lakshmi, as Vinod is willfully stopping her from having her own income.
Wow. So that is a form of control, right? If you're not allowed, wow. But this is the institution of marriage.
By which she must depend on him for money.
Yeah.
Apart from married women, this act is applicable to unmarried women staying with the family they were born into or adopted by, and also to unmarried women in live-in relationships with men. Through the enactment of Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code, violence against married women has been a crime in India since 1983. But the 2005 Act is a watershed moment in Indian law, as it outlines the creation of a support system for all women who have faced domestic violence. An aggrieved woman can contact a list of people or organizations that can help her come out of her situation. We'll get to that in a moment. In addition to this, the Act also gives a woman the right to order of protection against her husband and family. This means that a woman who files a complaint against a member of her marital home has a right to continue living in that house and cannot be thrown out after she files a complaint.
Ah, okay. I'm sure in their custom, their culture. But how are you going to feel comfortable living there? Look at the family faces too. They're angry at, how dare you? Wow. I wouldn't want to live in it.
The Act does not require a survivor of domestic violence to file a complaint herself. It can also be filed by a witness of the violence or a well-wisher on the survivor or victim's behalf. Lakshmi cannot file a case against Vinod for domestic violence after she has read the news, as the law does not apply in retrospect. But she has decided that she will seek outside help if Vinod shows violence again. So, what would her options be? The first resort would be to file a police complaint. According to the law, the police should treat a domestic violence survivor with sensitivity. The investigating officer.
Y'all think that's going to happen? I mean, because, let me see, somebody just, what they put up there? That it wasn't long ago. Here, is this it here? See, in India, they like to throw acid in women. What? Somebody had said, what did I just see? Oh, yeah, Beverly says, at Angela, exactly. Not too long ago, women didn't earn as much money as men, couldn't vote, etc., or our only use to men were domestic. Yeah. And they want us to go back there. And then it wouldn't be so bad if we weren't being abused and mistreated in the roles, right? Great points. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Here we go.
Officer then decides if the complainant needs to provide a statement or be spoken to further. The second option is to hire a lawyer who can initiate a court case or help with the right information about the legal options available. The courts have, in the past, risen to the defense of aggrieved women.
What?
In a 2019 case, the Supreme Court said that a complaint of domestic violence may be filed against a husband or male partner or against his relatives, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
This is important,
the whole family
as it
being
gives an
involved.
unmarried woman in a live-in relationship with a man the same rights as a married woman. The same year, the Calcutta High Court directed a man to award a compensation of 1 lakh rupees to his wife on account of the mental agony caused to her by his conduct. Though the complainant got the court to award a compensation in this case, the court said that the grant of compensation cannot be justified in the absence of evidence. The burden of proof is a big issue in cases of domestic violence. In the absence of it, the courts may not always be in the woman's favor.
Wow.
In a 2019 judgment, the Supreme Court said that a mere allegation of domestic violence is not enough to bring a case under the purview of the Domestic Violence
There
Act.
you go.
In 2018, the conviction rate for domestic violence cases under Section 498A was only 13%, compared to the 50% conviction rate for all IPC cases that year. If going to the police or court is too intimidating or expensive, a survivor can approach non-governmental avenues like NGOs or women's helplines for guidance.
The same little baloney stuff here is there, right? Man.
These avenues offer support to survivors by helping them with legal information and offering counseling.
The same little support lines that we have out here. So I just wanted to show y'all how, over in Mexico, they had their little stuff. Over here, we got our little, it's the same, it's worldwide. This is a thing, right? This is a thing. So, where do we start? Where do we start? I guess, like I said before, we start with ourselves, right? Everyone is starting with themselves. And if you are healed and loving yourself enough, then you will make sure that you're not allowing yourself to be abused. You will know how to steer away from those relationships because you love yourself enough and you feel comfortable with being by yourself until, you get you are the right person to attract the right person to you, right? Because, yeah. So Beverly says, because everyone else is caring. Okay, let's see. Beverly says, I've heard stories such as if a man from India wanted a different wife, he could get away with erasing the first wife and use a bogus lie to justify it. Right. And we see that they do that kind of stuff out here too, right? We've seen those kind of shows where they, unalive the, or destroy the whole family, right? Like the Scott Petersons and who was the new guy, unalived his wife and the 2 daughters. And he was already getting mail in prison, women who's like, hey, pick me, I'll marry you, yeah, so big time. See here. Beverly says, because everyone is caring. Oh, y'all talking about the straps? Yeah. Saw somebody was saying that in the South, everyone out here is strapped. So yes, I saw you were coming from New York. Like I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, stuff. So, didn't have these little open, open carry type stuff. So yes. And see, Sharon says, I don't feel that's my reason for caring. I was always against caring until seeing a desperate need to. Yeah. Beverly says, you are strong if you felt safe in New York. I don't know. Yeah. See, Sharon says, I was born and raised there in very rough area, Prince Street. You see, that may be why I didn't feel a need there and knew a whole lot of people there too. Yeah, I can see that. Beverly says, yep, knowing the neighborhood does make a difference. Okay, so, all right, so that's it for me for tonight, unless y'all wanted to finish the older ladies about the down low men. I don't know. I didn't feel like it really connected. I'm not sure even why it was part of the page for this domestic violence. I don't know. But anyway, so that was what I wanted to show y'all tonight was this whole domestic violence stuff and kind of see about, other people that was saying that they were, victims of this or survivors and all that stuff to make sure that we still giving a voice for the present, for the living people, also for the people that's currently going through this stuff to help. Beverly says not at 99%. What did I miss here? Let's see. Sharon said, I've been there, are in years of experience. How did I miss this here? What's not 99%? I think she said 97%. All right. Let's see here. Hey, Shelly. Shelly says the best man to go for is an Israelite brother, meet Israelite sisters, continue with worldly man, and you will receive worldly ways. Shelly Starr says the best man to go for is a Israelite brother, meet Israelite sisters, continue with worldly man. Wait a minute. Go for is an Israelite brother who meet an Israelite sister, continue with worldly man, and you will receive worldly ways. Okay. The best man to go for. I don't believe that women are supposed to be going for the men, right? You're supposed to be your best and then attract, and they're supposed to come for you, right? Yeah. Even the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Doesn't give any instructions to the women to go out there and look for a man. And I think that's where we go to when we go out there looking or advertising to these men that we are available. That's not our job. And so we're definitely not going to find it. You see, Shelly Starlings. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. It says hi at Shelly. So we got a greeting there for you too. Let's see here. The best man to go for is an Israelite brother. Meet Israelite sisters. Continue with worldly man, and you will receive worldly ways. Yeah. And these Israelite brothers and Israelite sisters are people too. And there is still issues here, right? Issues with domestic violence with the Israelite brothers and the Israelite sisters too. So that is definitely not a, let me see. Shelly Starr says, those are men of God. Okay. All right. And then on that note, that's going to start a whole new something there. All right. So thank you so much, Shelly, for coming on over here and stuff like that. And like I said, this all individual something here, because everybody is not actually doing the right order. Anyway, Beverly Cross says, good night, my lovely. See y'all tomorrow. Yes. Good night. And thank y'all for coming and listening. Peace and love, and stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Safe.